All right, so this week we're going to do a beautiful selection of very basic hamburgers. Something so easy anybody can do it. It only takes one pan to do the whole thing. Um, we are going to utilize a second pan to make French fries because hamburgers just go with them. So deal with me. At this point, give me a couple minutes just to get you caught up to speed. We're going to need a heavy cast iron skillet to handle the heat for the frying of the hamburger. You're going to need a small metal bowl and a secondary high-walled skillet or saucepan. So go ahead and grab those items. Let's get ready to start out. We're going to begin very, very simply by just turning on our high-walled either skillet or our pan. If you've got a saucepan that's capable of fitting the width of a potato in there, feel free. Take your vegetable oil or canola oil, just slightly deeper than the bottom of the pan. Make sure you get it all the way across and all the way through. We're not necessarily deep frying, but we are going to go and take our potato, cut it into widths. Wow, that's an interesting potato. Cut it into widths. Now take your width and cut it down into 1/4 inch ribbons. So I started about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And then I'm going to take it down to potato sticks. So 3/4 of an inch wide, 1/4 of an inch thick. When you get to the very edges, if you do not prefer the peels, go ahead and take those, set those off to the side. There will be plenty. At this point, a potato will do person and a half, 2 people almost, depending on the size of your people. Whatever you want to do to facilitate their needs, you go right ahead. We're going to keep it very, very simple on our potatoes. We're going to bring these guys up to temperature. That's what one of your potato bits will be good for. Just go ahead and preserve that off to the side. No sense using one of the ones that you're going to actually utilize. Alright, second pan, go ahead and start the heating process on. We're going to keep it on a medium heat. Go ahead and take 2 tablespoons of butter. Plant that down and in there. And grab out your onion. I've taken the liberty of going ahead and peeling mine. Just to make things simpler. This time we are going to just simply take the top right off of it. And we're going to make some rings. About as wide as our potatoes were. and just about half. I don't know how many of each sandwich you're going to utilize. These are going to be mainly for our patty melt. We do want, if you like, them with your regular cheeseburger, smash burger, whatever you want to call it. You go, feel free right ahead to saute up more. I like sauteed onions on my burgers also, yes. But with a smashed regular cheeseburger, I do like a couple just raw onion rings. And poke out and separate all of your onion rings here. Right into your pan. There we go. Go ahead and bring your tongs out. Give them a nice light stir. We're not looking for really any color on these guys. We are just simply going to get them nice and soft. That's why we've only got them on half. Now, with our bowl that we wanted to get out, take a couple pieces of paper towel right down in the bottom there. Just want to make a little nest for your French fries to come. Now, I've only done one of my 4 potatoes. Only on the general behest that I am only feeding myself today, so I'm not going to make a bunch of French fries. You may not have to do these in 2 different batches to complete, but we're just going to lay out our potatoes here momentarily in a nice light batch on the bottom of our. Now I want you to be careful when you go into your oil. Take your piece of potato, stick it in. When you see these bubbles, come off, you'll know that it's ready to start going. At this point, your hot temperature needs to go down to medium. And if you want to do it with your tongs, you can, but nice and lightly set one edge in and lightly drop in the other edge. Pull your hand back so you don't get splashed on. And you see the whole bunch of potatoes are doing exactly what a potato is supposed to do. Cooked. Got a few more left to do, but that's just fine. These guys here, getting a little bit of color. Now we are genuinely looking for soft onions. So basically when you can bring both sides together and they don't snap is about where we're looking to get. We're not going too mad crazy. You've got a small dish that you can hold your onions in till we're ready to finish utilizing them. This would right about be the point. Now at this juncture, just going to try to make our lives a little easier. We have some beautiful seasoned butter in our pan. Now if you're using just buns today, then just use your buns today. Otherwise, I'm going to start with my bread, because once we start cooking our burgers, they are going to wind up leaving crusty bits and extra grease in the pan. So simplify yourself, or simplify your life a touch. Cook the bread beforehand. Tearing the corners off, just trying to make the cheese fit the pan, or fit the bread, so it doesn't wind up all over the pan. Don't want burnt cheese going all over. Now at this point, I can see that my potatoes are starting to puff. Now, that is about perfect. So at this point, just take them and give them a nice little flip over. Take your tongs, slowly work one by one. Be careful, keep your hands away from the grease. Grease burns are not anything to trifle with. Now, fun facts. Hamburgers, in conception, came from Germany. Now, the difference between an American hamburger and a German hamburger was they would put a chunk of sausage cut in half and opened up. They would put that onto nice hard old rolls and carry those with them to lunch. Americans kind of took over the name from the Ellis County Fair in New York, when I do believe a gentleman by the name of Taylor wound up selling hamburgers, the German style, and ran out of sausages. Sent the child that was working for him down to the butcher, and all the butcher had was ground beef. And so they pattied it and cooked them off and put them in hard rolls. Now jump forward about 60 years to the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. That was the first United States World's Fair since Chicago, long time before. And by the midway, where the games and the rides are, just like a regular carnival is now, the attractions were set up for feeding the masses. There had been plenty of talk. Roll your bun around and around and around. Soak up a little bit of that beautiful butter that's left in your pan. We don't really need the butter for a hamburger unless you want to melt it into it, but we do need it for toasting our buns. So I went ahead and put my onions onto my melted cheese. Set that off to the side. Check your buns. Don't want them getting too horribly hot. Nice toasted brown. Now that can sit off to the side. Alright, that's very close. That needs a little more time. You're looking for a nice golden brown color throughout. That way they're soft in the middle, soft and creamy in the middle, crunchy on the outsides. Now, I wound up with a little bit too big of a pack for what we were calling for. But I did want nice, fresh ground beef. Now, when I say fresh, I don't mean you have to go to the counter and spend the whatever they're wanting, $12, $8, $9 a pound. Just get the stuff that's not packed in the tube. Now, this was under $2.50 a pound at the moment. That was just fine by me. Alright, I'm going to move my skillet just off to the side of the heat. I'm going to bring over a pound of hamburger. Now, with my pound of hamburger, I'm going to make a couple small racquetball sized patties. And I'm going to squish it into my hand. Slow. Take it slow. We don't need to make them too horribly huge. Kind of work it from the inside to the outside. Burgers shrink back in very, very well. Now I'm going to take my knife and go underneath, and I'm going to separate it from the cutting, from the board. I'm going to make a second one because I can fit two in my pan. Now, if you choose to have double patty burgers, this works out well for you. Smash to the outside from the inside, just like we did last time. Particularly what you're worried about, it does not have to be perfectly perfectly circular. We are basically just looking for a nice thin patty. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you the last one. We're going to take a slightly bigger amount, and we are going to go for a nice oval. Because our bread over here is a nice oval shape. And we're going to want this one slightly thicker, maybe about a ½ inch thick all the way across. So use your best judgment. These little guys here, maybe a third. And then just use your knife to separate. Bring your skillet back to the heat and wash your hands. Getting back to our history education, when you look back, the only difference between the gentleman serving in the 50s, in the 1850s, and the fella in 1904, some 48 years later, that he was doing different, is he had changed the spelling to not the German town's name. So the traditional spelling that we have today was at the World's Fair in 1904. White Castle, for those that have seen a White Castle, have been the longest running burger chain in existence since 1916. Theirs were done a little bit different. They actually started the trend of what we call a hamburger bun as of right now by taking soft rolls and making their burgers out of softer rolls. It wasn't until 1925 that somebody actually came up with making a bun. Now at this point we're gonna season everything. We've got some juices coming out of our take and salt your French fries as they come out. Once the grease is gone, there's nothing, once the grease drains off of them, there's nothing more to hold the fries onto, or hold the salt onto the fries. So as quickly as they come out, now on this side, you're going to want to smash the burger completely flat and turn your heat all the way up. add on a piece of cheese. Earlier I told you that we were going to play with sriracha. A couple of us here like sriracha a lot. Some of us don't. You know, if you don't, then don't worry about it. Give them a nice light toss. French fries good. Now, what I have done here for us is I have taken 2 small scoops of, I got too many things out here. I've taken 2 small scoops out of my mayo container. I'm going to take a bottle of sriracha, open it right on up, and I'm going to go around 1.5 times. Take a fork. Won't need much more than that. Scrape your edges together. And slowly mix everything in until it's a nice pale orange. Once you've got your nice pale orange, you can make it less spicy by, that's just barely got a little bit. That's perfect. All right. We've got a little juice coming out of the top of our patty melt burger. I'm going to go ahead and flip that guy on over. Perfect. Going to add the last burger into the pan. He's holding up all right. I only season one side of the burger. You can, because they're super thin, put way too much salt and pepper on them. Then you just lose all flavor. Alright, my cheese is nice and melted. It's starting to ooze off of the burger itself. Take a couple scoops. I think we're about done with this guy. Couple scoops of mayo. We're going to spread a little bit out on our burger. Not gloppy, just enough to cover. Mostly the mayo is for the fries. I know. Some people are going to have a major problem with that comment. There's ketchup too. Ketchup on the other bun. Spread it out nicely. There you go. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. The honest to God's truth, a patty melt gets nothing. It's got Swiss cheese and onions. I am just simply using regular American cheese. Alright, at this point our beautiful little patty melt is done. Close them on up. Add a little more sauteed onions to the top. Open them up. You've got a beautiful, beautiful patty melt there. Come back over to your stove. Grab your next burger. Double pattied burger. As soon as you're finished, turn your stove off. Very important that you turn your stove off. If you don't, you may end up with a grease fire. As anybody that's ever dealt with a grease fire knows, they are not any fun. I'm going to take a nice thin slice of onion. Pop on the top. Just a couple pieces, not too many. Alright, add your pickles. Go in, get 2 or 3. Or 1. Okay, I might do 2. Damn. Add your burger bun to the top. Come on in, grab yourself a handful of fries. Those fries might do with a little pepper. There we go. Not too shabby. 2 big old monster burgers. Absolutely delicious. Alright, so we are going to call this a success and enjoy your family and enjoy the rest of your night. And thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please share. Seems that the word's starting to get around. We're getting more and more people in. Do like to have a lot of people following along. Next week we are coming up on the holiday season for Easter. If you are one that participates in that holiday, we're going to be doing next week a holiday ham. So go ahead and search out. I did look at all these just this last week. They're still around $1.50 a pound. We're going to need an oven. But thank you very much for joining us. We will look forward to seeing you all here in next week. But for this week, stay cooking.